So you've gotten the courage to walk away from your narcissistic, toxic, or abusive partner. But what happens next? Are you going to walk away and finally be able to live a life of freedom, a life where you can be yourself authentically and unapologetically? Or will you continue to experience the control, the post-separation abuse, and the difficulties and the challenges that come along with having dated a narcissistic, toxic, or abusive man, and now having been the ex who walked away from them, who left them, and who exposed them for the abusive monster that they are? In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you never, ever, ever, never, ever want to do when you are walking away, leaving a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man. And if I could go back in time to my own experiences, and if I could give one piece of advice to every single woman that is leaving an abusive, toxic, narcissistic relationship, it would be these 5 tips. These 5 individual things to never, ever, ever do. Because not only will they create more turmoil in your life, not only will you experience more difficulties and more challenges if you do these 5 things, but it will give the narcissistic, toxic, abusive man the opportunity to claw themselves into you a little bit deeper, to create more pain and more suffering in your life. Because you and I both know that a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man will never, ever treat you with any respect, love, and adoration. All they care about is control. All they care about is putting you inside of some box or in a cage so you can fulfill some sort of distorted fantasy that they have, some illusion, a delusion that they have of what their ideal woman should be or could be, rather than embracing who you truly are. So let's dive into the 5 things that you never, ever, ever want to do when you are leaving a narcissistic, abusive, toxic man. The number 1 thing that you never, ever want to do is let their family and their friends know. While you may feel that these people have your best interests in mind, while you may feel that because these people are women, they will support you, because they tout themselves as feminists, that they will help you, that they will listen to you, that they will believe you, you need to understand that every single person that the narcissistic, abusive, toxic man surround themselves with, whether it be family or whether it be friends, whether they be male or female, are part of their group of monkeys. They are their enablers. Narcissistic, abusive, toxic men make sure to never, ever, ever surround themselves with anyone who sees them for exactly who they are. Every single person, whether it be family or friends, that circles and surrounds the narcissistic, toxic, abusive man is fulfilling the fantasy for this monster. So they will not see them for who they are. They will see the charming side. They will see the individual who wears all these masks, and they will believe the masks as a reality. They will not see the monster that lives behind closed doors. And in your attempt to reach out to these women or to these family members or to these friends in hopes of getting some sort of support, or in hopes of trying to help the narcissistic, toxic, abusive man, or in sharing your story, or if you co-parent with them, in trying to make sure you protect your children, all you will do is fuel more fire in your life. Connecting with them, letting them know, exposing the narcissist to their family and to their friends will create a frenzy of chaos, will create more difficulties and more challenges. And chances are the narcissistic, toxic, abusive person has already began a very, very underground smear campaign against you. They have already been planting these seeds, these microaggressions, letting people know that you're the problem, that any issues or challenges or difficulties that you have in your relationship are your fault. So when you reach out to these people looking for support, looking for love, looking for help, looking for someone that can listen to you or can protect your children or can be there for you, you're not going to be met with that at all. You're going to be met with individuals who will now see you as the problem, who will now see you as crazy or unhinged or difficult or problematic. And it'll just feed the narrative that the narcissistic, toxic, abusive man has already started to paint about you through their microaggressions that they do very covertly. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling hopeless and helpless, if you're feeling unfulfilled, if you know that there is more to your life than what you have right now, if you want to free yourself from this narcissistic, abusive individual, or if you are ready to reclaim your power in your life after leaving an abusive, narcissistic person, and you don't know how to get to that next step in your life, that next stage in your life, book a discovery call with me in the description box below, or book a 1-hour cosmic session with me. When you make the decision to walk away from a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man, you want to make sure that you have your finances in order. And you want to make sure that you have some type of savings, a secret bank account, or you want to make sure that you have support from your family, from people who you know 100% unequivocally will be on your side and will support you and your children if you happen to have children with a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man. You may think that because you left your job to be a stay-at-home mom, or because you have kids with them, or because you left your job in order to be a housewife for the narcissistic, toxic person, that they will then support you financially. But the farthest thing could be from the truth. They will do everything within their power to not pay the appropriate amount of child support, if any child support at all. They will do everything in their power to not pay you the spousal support that's due. They will do everything in their power to create a financial imbalance, to leave you financially depleted, financially ruined, and in financial hardship while they move on with their life with all their finances. They will have no regard for taking care of the children or child that you may have with them. They will have no regard for the impact that their financial control and their financial abuse will have on you and children or the child. So you need to understand the importance of not thinking that they are going to be amicable or respectful or do what's in the best interest of the child financially. You need to remember to have your own finances. You need to ensure you have that plan in place. If you end up having to flee from this abusive, toxic, narcissistic man, and you don't have your finances in order, and you don't have support from family members, people that you know are on your side, please make sure to reach out to the appropriate organizations, to women's shelters, to domestic violence shelters. There are many programs and many organizations across the world, wherever you are, that are able to help you out so you can get financially back on your feet. And if you're watching this because you're making a plan on how to properly leave a narcissistic, abusive, toxic man, make sure you have your own money, money that they cannot have access to, money that they don't even know about. Consciously, you've made a plan to walk away from this individual. You've decided that you are no longer going to allow yourself to be disrespected, to be abused, to be hurt, to be degraded and insulted by this individual who is a monster behind closed doors. The most important thing you need to do as you consciously make this plan to leave is to not engage in any arguments with them. They will try and bring you in to their fighting ring. They will try and get you to put the gloves on. They will do absolutely everything they can to elicit a negative reaction from you. They fuel themselves in creating chaos and difficulties and challenges. They will instigate, they will insult you, they will do everything they can so that they can elicit some sort of reaction within you and keep you dancing with them, keep you fighting with them, keep you in that difficulty and that dynamic that is very toxic and very energetically depleting for you, but fuels and offers supply for the narcissistic, toxic person. So now that you know that you are walking away from them, now that you have made this conscious plan to leave the narcissistic, toxic, abusive man, you want to make sure that you do not get into any arguments with them. Do not engage. Ignore. Yellow rock or gray rock. But do whatever you can within your power to not engage in any further arguments or obstacles or challenges with them, especially if you have told them that you are leaving. If they know that there is a plan for you to leave, you do not want to engage in any arguments with them, in any fights, in any discourse. And the reason for this is because, one, they are going to be recording those interactions so that they can attempt to get you looking in a negative light, so that they can use it against you, so they can call you crazy, so they can call you a monster, so they can call you all these things: unhinged, a not mentally stable person, a not good parent, etc. The second reason why they're doing this is because they'll try to win you back so that you can continue to be their source of supply. So whatever you do, do not engage in any arguments with them. The universe is always giving you warning signs or little hints or nudges to let you know that certain people in your life or certain situations or environments are no longer serving you for your highest good. And if you want to know if you are experiencing any of those warning signs, you're going to want to watch the video after this one. Now, my hope is that if you're watching this video, it's because you're consciously making this plan to leave the narcissist, but you haven't yet left. You are in this process of deciding what leaving is going to look like. And if I could tell you one thing that's most important above these 5 things is to never, ever, ever tell the narcissist, abusive, toxic man that you are leaving. You do not want them to know that you are leaving. Whether you have children, a child, or no children with them, either way, you do not want them to know that you are walking away from them. Ideally, you would walk away from them and you would leave the home, or you would lock them out of the home, or whatever plan you have in place when they are not home. This is for your own safety, for your own protection, and for your own peace of mind. Because once the narcissist knows that you are leaving them, what they are going to do is try and get you back on that roller coaster ride of love bombing and discarding. Love bombing and discarding. So it's better that they don't know that you are walking away from them. So it's better they don't know that you are leaving them. Not only is it safer for you, but it's also safer for your children, and it'll protect you in a better way and help you to avoid any additional conflict, difficulties, or challenges. Sadly, many of the women who pass away from domestic violence and from disputes with narcissistic, toxic, abusive partners pass away because the narcissistic, toxic, abusive person found out that they were leaving. Even if they've never physically hurt you in the past, do not put it past them that they will do absolutely everything they can to keep you under their control. So please, if you can avoid it at all costs, do not let them know your plan. Do not let them know you're leaving them until after you've already left them and you have the proper process, the proper plans, the proper people in place to protect you and to help you out through this journey of separating from a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man. So let's just say you've consciously made the plan to walk away from this narcissistic, toxic, abusive person, but you're still having to cohabitate together for whatever reason, whether the lease is coming up or you haven't found a new place or whatever the situation may be, because each of you are on your own journeys and your own different experiences. You're going to want to make sure that you disengage from interacting with them face to face as much as possible. While you may still need to interact and talk to them for one reason or another, you're going to want to try and do that as much as possible via email or via text message. And you're going to want to make sure that your emails and your text messages are assertive, are specific, are to the point, and are unemotional. You want to completely detach from that relationship, from that connection, from that very toxic dynamic, from the chaos that a narcissistic, toxic, abusive man always seems to create in the relationship. And one of the best ways to do this is by disengaging from them in interactions face to face. So you no longer want to have these long conversations that are 4 hours, 5 hours long. They're long-winded. They talk about all these things, right? Because narcissists love to triangulate, and narcissists love to toss in a bunch of different conversations, a bunch of different situations, a bunch of different topics into one specific conversation. And they do that to try and create a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, a lot of difficulty, and so that you're continuously going around in circles and you can't disengage from them. So one of the best ways to be able to disengage from them and no longer give them supply, no longer fuel their need for chaos, their need for destruction, their need for problems, and so that you don't get onto the roller coaster of love bombing and discarding, so that they don't have the opportunity to disrespect you, is by communicating with them specifically via email or via text message. And again, you're going to want to make sure that every single one of those engagements is very specific, to the point, to a specific topic, and you're not attaching your emotions or your opinions about anything. You're just literally giving them straight facts and data, regardless of what they respond to you, regardless of what they write to you, because you and I both know when narcissists become unhinged, they create these long-winded emails, these long text messages, right? They create so much chaos. You're not going to want to do that in return. Okay. And this is part of you reclaiming your power. This is part of you remembering that you are no longer going to be participating in this toxic dynamic. Okay. So you're going to want to be very, very specific, clear, and unemotional in any of your responses, and you're going to want to keep them via text message and email. You're also going to want to do this because you want to think about the future and the fact that you may need those emails, those text messages as evidence to demonstrate the type of emotional, mental, verbal, financial abuse and difficulties and challenges that you experienced in the relationship with this narcissistic, toxic, abusive person. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that you have the right support, that you're reaching out to the organizations and the communities that are available to you. And I want you to know that you should be very proud of yourself for making this choice to honor your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual vessel and free yourself from the false chains, from the illusion that the narcissistic, toxic person creates that makes you believe that you're trapped. These steps that you can take and these things that you can do that I shared with you in this video are some of the first steps in freeing yourself from the false notion that this narcissistic, toxic, abusive person has created, making you believe that they have some type of control over you or that you are hopeless and helpless, because you are not. This is the first step in you reclaiming your power.